When we left off, we were about to isolate for just the player's positions, independent of their positions. And there is a nice formula that allows us to do that. So now we're on a blank sheet. Let's return to our sheets of player names by hitting Control Page Up, going to the point totals, tab, and we're going to insert a column to the left of column B that will contain only player names. So to do that, we're going to hit Control Space, right click, insert column, and in cell B2 we're going to type in a formula. This formula will combine two formulas. Let's first talk about the left formula. The left formula is used by inputting the equals sign. In order to insert any formula, you need to start with the equals sign. That's how you denote to Excel that you're about to type in a formula. And we're going to use the left formula. What the left formula does is it takes a certain number of characters from every cell to which you apply the formula, and it returns the number of characters in that cell. For example, if I take equals left, the left characters in in cell C2, and I want the left 5, I'm going to do left, I'm going to put my cursor over cell C2, comma, 5, and then Excel will output the left 5 characters in cell C2, which you can see are KEVIN. So if we drop this formula down by hitting Control arrow down, going one space to the left, and then hitting Control Shift up, then hitting Control D, we get the left 5 characters of every cell of every cell in our range. The left 5 characters of cell C3 are CRME, LEBRO for LeBron James, etc. But that's not what we want. We're going to combine this formula with the find formula. And what the find formula is going to do is it's going to allow us to find a character in a cell and return values to the left or to the right of that character. So what I'm going to do is nest two formulas together. So first thing I'm going to do is hit equals left, and I still want the left characters in cell C2. And then it's asking me to return the number of characters, and we don't want 5 in this case. What we're going to do is input another formula. And this formula is called the find formula. Find. And we're going to ask the program to find a comma. And in order for formulas to recognize text, you have to surround the text with quotation marks. So we're going to do open quote, comma, look for the comma, close quote, and you can see the autocomplete formula that Excel says find text, and that's our comma. So then we're going to put a comma in after the quote to get to our next step. Within text, we want to find the comma within cell C2. And then we close parentheses, and we want to return starting with text just one character to the left of the comma. So we're going to put in a -1 and close parentheses. Now we're going to expand our column so we can see the full value by hitting Control Space, then Alt HOI, and you can see we have Kevin Durant. I'm going to drop this formula down, Control Shift up, Control D, and again expand our column, and you can see here that that's exactly what happened here. The program took every character to the left of the comma and returned all of the characters there. So now we have names without positions. And we're going to do the same thing for minute totals. So again, insert a column. Equals left C2, comma, find. And we're going to look for the comma again within cell C2 and close parentheses just to the left of the denoted character, the comma, -1. Close parentheses, and we get Carmelo Anthony. Drop this down again, and we have all of our player names. It seems that when we copied our values out of Excel, the text is wrapped. As you can see in sort of the top middle of your screen, wrap text is highlighted, so we're going to select our range in column B by starting in cell B2 and hitting Control-Shift down, and we're going to unwrap the text by hitting Alt-HW, and our text is now unwrapped. We'll expand our column, and now we have all of our player names in a nice format. Okay, now let's take 5 players who are in both of our lists and start calculating their points per 24, 36, and 48 minutes. So let's take Control page down. We're going to name this page, call it points per minute summary. Now I noticed that LeBron James, Kevin Durant, James Harden, let's see who else, Carmelo Anthony, and I think Stephen Curry. And Stephen Curry were players on both pages, and we'll start with 5 players for now. And let's think about the data that we need in order to calculate points per minute total. We need to start with games played, total minutes played, and total points scored. So let's first get games played in here. Games played. Minutes total. Point total. And that's it for now. Eventually we're going to want points per 24 minutes, points per 36 minutes, and points per 48 minutes. And these stats are useful because players have different point totals per game, but everyone plays a different number of minutes in a game. So this allows us to isolate for how much a player would score if every player in our range in column A played the same number of minutes. So it's a good comparison point for how effective players are at scoring in a given amount of time. So to start, we're going to put our games played, need to return our games played numbers in column B. And so we could go back and just copy those totals from the point totals tab, but we don't want to do that. What we would rather do is do something much more efficient than, say, taking Carmelo Anthony's games total by doing this, pasting it into Carmelo Anthony's games played cell there, we're going to do something that allows us to return everyone's games played values and minute total and point total values in 3 steps. So we're going to use a formula called the vlookup. And what the vlookup does is this. You enter in equals vlookup, and what this formula is saying is find a lookup value, and in this case we want our lookup values to be the values in column A, and then we want to look up against where our outputs are going to be, which is in the point totals tab. So we're going to hit Control Page Up, and what a vlookup does is it says, okay, you give me a range of data and tell me what column you want to return that data from. So we're going to start with player names because that's where we have our like values. As you can see, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Carmelo Anthony are all in the leftmost column of the range. So Excel is going to say, okay, you give me these reference points in the summary tab, and now you give me the comparison points in column B2. So we select our range, and we want to go 1, 2, 3 to our 4th column, which is where games played. We have our games played statistic. We're going to lock our range, and I'll explain locking in a minute, by hitting F4, and we want to return values in the 4th column of our range. So we hit comma 4, comma 4, comma false, so that we return an exact match rather than an approximate match. We will never use approximate matches, so always input false at the end of a vlookup. And then we're going to hit enter. And then we're going to drop the formula down, and there we have the games played values for every player in our list here. Just to verify, we can go back and see, did LeBron James play 77 games? Yes. So did Carmelo Anthony. So did Carmelo Anthony. Kevin Durant played 81 games. Let's see what our totals look like. Yes and yes. So now that we've checked our work, we can use another vlookup to get our minutes total. So again, equals vlookup, and now we're going to look up, still against our names, comma, table array. So our array is going to be in our minute totals tab. Going to hit Control Home to get to cell A1, and then start our range at cell B2. Head over to the 5th column in our range, again locking our range, and we want to return values in the 5th column of our range, and we want an exact match, so we hit false. Once again, dropping our formula down, we now have minute totals for every player. Now let's talk about locking for a second. I'm just going to copy some names here so I can use this as a reference. And I will continue to explain locking cells in the next video.